Alrighty, so this is my simple video demo for the final. So I'll just quickly run through the game here quick. This should cover a lot of things like user input, output to display, GUI menu stuff, believe opening screen, which describes what the application is, which, sort of implicitly is there, But yeah, so here's the UI stuff. It's just the main menu button. You can see this exit button, exit the game, and in fact it does do that. And then the start button, of course, starts the game. So let's quickly do that. But yeah, so here's the instructions. Of course, A and D to move left and right. And of course, this covers user input, as I can pretty easily move. Of course, there's more user input here and giving more instructions. Of course, pressing space and then collecting the coin. And of course, you see another menu here that has a bunch of input as well. So let's quickly exit this and then show off some of the more code-based stuff here. So showing off variables with at least two different types. Of course, you can see these two here are of tuple and of vector. Although these are not really a type, it's a class, but it's effectively treated like one, so who cares? But there's a bunch of other things here, like the this one is a surface, which is itself a class of, I believe, Pygames. But here we can come down to see floats, we can see booleans, we can see a bunch of different stuff here. Next up is 10 functions or more while taking and returning values. I'm not going to count the initialization function. It's completely normal. It's common. It's fine. But this update function is a function of I believe, the base class, which is object, which is its own custom class because, of course, regular Python object doesn't really suit well for games. But anyway, here's the collision function, which itself is also a base class function. Detectors, which is just about the collision detection and whether or not you can move up and down, left to right. So here you can see this one is a remove or reset movement, which just resets all the, detectors, or the, not detectors, but whether or not the player can move up and down, left and right. So this is just getting all the detectors on the left, detectors on the right, detectors on the top, middle, and bottom, as well as this as a normal base class collision function, because this also originates from the detectors base class. And of course, this is the render class, or the render function, which renders to a layer, which is then rendered onto the surface, the main surface rather. That probably was 10 functions. Guess we can go over a couple more in the application. This just handles the events. This does all the frame renders, which I was just talking about a second ago. This is the main application, which does all of the application stuffs. This does all the render calls, or the update calls rather, and this does all the collision calls. Super simple stuff. So for the next one, it is one of four data types: list, dictionary, tuple, or set. And I guess I can go into game object and show you that there is a list here. This is a list of all the game objects in the scene. Of course, each game object has its own children, which is also a list of objects. So program loop. So of course, in the update function, or the application main, there is a game loop, which is this right here. Pretty simple stuff. It just does all the update calls and the render calls and so on and so on. At least one Python package. Of course, we can see here that there's Pygame, which is a package